I'm the 5-Minute Professor, and today's lesson is on the hamburger. The second week of May is National Hamburger Week here in the United States, and here are a few facts about the Hamburg. Now, the name Hamburg comes from one of the traditional stories about where hamburgers came from. And that story is that it was created in the city of Hamburg in Germany and involved ground beef and a bun and an egg. Now, hamburgers or hamburgers are the people who live in Hamburg. So the term burger doesn't really apply to meat or anything like that. It's what's called a backronym. It's a backwards name that came out of a longer name. So Hamburger started being the name for a burger patty with a bun, and then just the burger part of it began being called a burger. So it's perfectly fine to say veggie burger or bison burger or chicken burger or burger. Any way that you say it is etymologically as correct as any other way, because the actual name comes from food eaten by people from Hamburg. So don't give anybody a hard time just because they call something a burger, even if it doesn't have ground beef in it. Now, an all-beef patty should have all beef in it, and it is ground meat, so it's not going to be usually the highest quality of meat, because why would you grind up the highest quality of meat? You would serve that whole. But it doesn't mean that it's trashy or bad meat. This is not the highest quality meat, and it should have a relatively high fat content. And I say relatively high because the flavor of ground beef comes not from the meat, but from the fat. So when you get really lean ground beef, you've got to do something to make up for the fact that there isn't fat to give the flavor that we associate with burgers. And I don't know if there's any right way or wrong way to cook a burger either. A lot of people like cooking it out over an open flame in a barbecue or a hibachi or something like that. Now, the one thing I will say about this is that when you're cooking something that is ground, to get the cook all the way through to the middle, you've got to get some relatively high heat on the first side so that you can turn it over and have that temperature stay inside. So it has to be a little bit of a cooked layer at the top that's cooked relatively quickly, so you're not cooking all the juices out of the burger. Now, it's very common to see burgers cooked on a flat grill where it's hot and you cook it and then you turn it over. Now, something else which you see a lot is people squeezing the juice out. Now, I do not recommend squeezing the juice out because, well, that's where the flavor is. I think you want your burger to be juicy, not to be dry. So squeezing it out doesn't make it cook any faster either. I'm not 100% sure that I know where this came from, this squeeze the grease out of the burger, but it doesn't make it cook it any faster, because a part of how cooking works is that the liquid that's inside of something is hot, so it helps cook the things which are not liquid inside. Make sense? All right, now, so however you want to cook it, it's fine. It's how you cook it. We're celebrating National Hamburger Week here at the 5-Minute Professor YouTube channel. Now, you want to hear a little bit of history about the burger? The very first White Castle opened in 1921, the first Crystals in 1931, and it was not until 1940 that we had a McDonald's, but McDonald's just did a better job of expanding and growing to being a nationwide chain where, on average, there are 550 million Big Macs sold a year. Big Macs, that one burger, 550 million sold a year. Now, since we talked a little bit about the fact that veggie burgers are okay, and we talked about the fact that chicken burgers are okay, or whatever you want to use for a word, it's okay to call it burger. Celebrate burgers the way you want to celebrate burgers. And if you're like my friend Greg and a pilot, maybe you want to celebrate with $100 burger. Now, this is not actually a burger that costs $100. It's actually a lot more. It is a thing which pilots do, which is, I want to go flying today. What am I going to do? So you get in the plane, you fly for an hour, hour and a half, and you land someplace, and you have a burger, and you get back on the plane and you fly home. That is the $100 burger. Perceptum, quispium, damnatium. Learn something, damn it. I'm the 5-Minute Professor, and thank you very much for listening to today's lesson. If you have any comments at all, please put them in the comments section down below. And of course, like it and subscribe to the channel. But most important, if you liked it, if you commented, and if you subscribed, tell your friends. Perceptum, quispium, damnatium. Learn something, damn it.